guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah, and for those of you who are new, I am a dental student who is studying in Egypt. And maybe I should change that introduction, I don't know. Sorry, something a little bit different, I can't talk today. To do with Procreate. So for anyone who's used Procreate before, hats off to you. Honestly, it's a really good app. I really enjoy it. So what I'm gonna do today is I just have a small list of a few techniques and tricks that you can use in Procreate to make your art look amazing. And whilst I'm talking, I'm going to be showing you like a clip on the bottom, either here or here, of what I do on my iPad. I'm going to go through that list one by one, and with each of those things that I mention, I will be showing you an example of how I've used it in one of my artworks before. I will have just a picture on the left hand side or the right hand side here of my iPad screen essentially, and then I will show you what I did each time for each of the different techniques. Hopefully you can see how it's like changed my artwork as I've used the technique. So let's get started. I'm really excited today and let's go. The first thing, let me just unlock this. Anything that's different to Apple, I'm not very good at using it. Okay, so the first thing that I've got on this list is layering. So this is a picture of my cat, as you can see, and there's a lot of intricacy within each hair, you know, of his fur and everything. There's a lot of different colors, a lot of overlap. For this artwork alone, I had to make so many layers. But how to create a layer? It's really, really simple. You just go to the top right and you create a new one, just like that. Good thing about layering is it minimizes the amount of error that you will have for your artwork that you're creating. So essentially, if there's a small part that you want to add to the eye, for example, all you have to do is create a new layer and then start drawing onto the eye. And if you don't like what you've drawn, you can quickly delete that layer. Okay, so the amount of layers that you can have in Procreate, I'm pretty sure that it goes close to 400. But another piece of artwork that I actually used layering on, this took me, it must have been close to about 5 hours straight that I was working on it. With layering, for example, if you want to create a set of lips, let's just do this quickly. So if you want to create a set of lips, you have to obviously draw the outline of the lips. If you want to add color, me personally, I would add a fresh layer to do the color. Again, on top of that color, if you want to add a secondary color on each lip, another layer. So whenever you add something new, I would suggest going for a new layer, okay? Also, if you want to do highlights, okay, which are really important for lips, especially if you have the girl wearing product in her lips or, you know, lip gloss, anything like that, you have to add highlights, especially to the eyes as well. But let's stick with the lips for now. Create a new layer, and then what I usually do is I just add a little smidge of white onto that layer, and it looks amazing. It makes it pop so well. It's the accumulation of all of these layers together that makes it look so almost 3D. Next point, let's go. So the next point that I'm going to talk about with Procreate, I keep pressing the top bit, Gaussian blur. This is definitely my favorite. You see here, just now, the light is coming from this direction. On my nose, there's a huge dark shadow. This is possible with Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur makes everything look a lot more poppy. Layering helps, but also Gaussian blur adds that extra steps. Obviously, I'll just show you how to do it first. So if, for example, I wanted to create a shadow on a nose, on one side of the face, like this, then I would just draw the nose and then on one side put color. You don't have to make the color perfect because it's going to blur anyway. So even if it's like an obscure shape or a weird shape, so what you have to do, you have to go to the top left and click on this icon here, and then just slide your Gaussian blur along. You'll see the percentage change, and then so slide it along and go with whatever percentage you feel looks best for your picture. So I'll just show you a few examples of when I use Gaussian blur. This is probably my favorite technique, I'm not gonna lie, because it can make anything look so good. Even if you're drawing a circle, a sphere, and then you shade it in, you can do a Gaussian blur underneath the circle to make it look really 3D, like it's sitting on a surface. It looks incredible. Next point is, I keep pressing this alpha lock, okay? So Alpha Lock is really incredible. It's a really, really good technique, especially for saving time and making something look clean cut. If you have a shape and you just want to draw inside that shape only, at this point you should have, if you're drawing a lot of shapes in your painting, you should have a lot of different layers for different shapes. That's usually my rule. So Alpha Lock, click on the layer and then just press Alpha Lock. And if I wanted to go and color this sphere in, for example, I would Alpha Lock it, and then I would just pick my color. And if I widely scribble over the whole page, you can see that it only colors in the shape that I've Alpha Locked. So that's really clever. And it's really good for drawing eyes as well, I've noticed. So it's also really good if you want to make a circle look 3D, or make a planet, or some kind of spherical shape. If you want to make that pop out the page, then this is a really good tool, because it saves you time again, and yeah, you can use whatever color you want and it won't look weird. So usually what I do with this mushroom, what I did is I used all three. Okay, I used layering, Gaussian blur, and I used Alpha Lock. So you will get used to using like all of these techniques in the same page as you get used to Procreate. But you just have to stay consistent with practicing it and everything, and you'll get used to it. But with the layering, you can see how many layers I've got here for this mushroom picture. You can also see that I've used Gaussian blur. So you can see that on one side, I think the mushroom is blue on one side, and then on the other side, the mushroom is yellow. I'm pretty sure that it's those colors. So for the blur, to make it look really like mystical and a bit trippy-ish, you just have to put colour on one side of the shape and colour on another side, and then blend both to make it look like there's light coming from, do you know what I mean? So that's what I did for that one, and it worked incredibly well. It looks really cool. And then, yeah, I also Alpha Locked a lot of the, the dots on the mushroom, the white dots. I also Alpha Locked them to give them like a slight shadow as well. Okay, so that was another technique that I used. So that was Alpha Lock, Gaussian blur, and layering all in one piece. Let's move on. The cutest techniques ever, especially if you want to make little furry monster animals, and that is the smudge technique. Okay, so if you have a ball, and you just put a colour into it, you can instantly make this ball look like a fur ball if you use smudge. Top right, you click smudge, which is like the little hand icon, and then you just have to go from the inside out and smudge all the edges so that it looks like it's puffy. So cute, I love it so much, and I've created so many different little monsters from this technique alone. I really hope that someone I might make a little Instagram page or something of all the monsters that I've created, because I love using imagination with art. I think it's so good when you can replicate something, but I think it's a lot more rewarding, especially with art, when something's popped into your head and you have an image and then you completely create it from your own mind. Just a bit more smooth and clean. So yeah, I really enjoy using the smudge tool. This stuff is really good. So you can send it to my Instagram when you end up doing it. Art is a great way of just chilling, doing your own thing, and just seeing where the pen takes you and where you end up. Sometimes you do want to use a template to create a piece of art, but sometimes it feels really good to just completely create something new. If you want to look at my artwork that I've done, you can follow Art by Hand 1 on Instagram, and you can also look at my artwork on my main Instagram page, again, which is Hannah with 3 N's, J Cooper. But I hope that you find this video useful, and please, please, please let me know what you think of this video, because I would love to hear your feedback. And yeah, stay arty. Bye guys, see you later.